Nib95. Spain weekly Black Friday sales data dropped. Oh my goodness. And what does it say? And it's one of the biggest gulfs between Xbox Series XS and the PS5 console sales yet. PS5 outsold Series by staggering 59-1. Dead skull emoji. Hardware, then he puts all the hardware numbers. Pricing and lack of sales and presence is clearly hurting Xbox, especially in parts of Europe. Rogue Ally also posts only 240 units. It's not clear if that includes the Rogue Xbox Ally or if the latter just failed to chart. Software sales are as follows. Then he put this on in Spain. FC26 PS5 42K, Switch 13K, EA Sports FC for PS4 8K, and all these other consoles. Does he have anything for Xbox when it comes to these? Interesting. Fooling GameReactor.es. Now, this is very interesting because I don't see the game sales for Xbox here. Where are they? Let me translate this website. Let's come back here and let's see where the game sales are for Xbox. Because you know what's crazy is when we look at these numbers, right? And look at the way Xbox has pretty much bypassed this need for its box. It's funny because Xbox doesn't have the console sales that PlayStation has, but was able to beat them in revenue for subscription services. Now, that's the first time that that's happened. Is it going to continue? We'll see. But it's interesting nonetheless. Let me go ahead and it says stop scale sales for a week of this and this. Okay, we don't have anything that's showing us any sales for Xbox. Because Xbox stuff is basically digital or whatnot, so we don't see it. But when we look back and if you take out the analytics data for whatever it is you want to take it for, when they showed Battlefield 6's data, I didn't see a lot of people come out here to tell us anything. Do you know why? Because if that data set is correct, the breakdown anyways, the data set happened to actually be close to what EA themselves published. But if it's actually close to anything, then on average, the Xbox user is going to spend money on their games, especially if it's a game that's quite popular. So this doesn't really tell you the whole story. Number two, the PlayStation fanboy or aficionado is very adept at throwing hardware everywhere. But isn't the irony something that you have to actually go ahead and, in a sense, taste? That more than anything else, these cats are very well committed to only console sales, a metric that PlayStation themselves has actually, has actually specifically posited as not the major driver for their business. Do you know why? How does selling consoles at a loss actually bring you closer to profitability? Especially in the saturated markets today. It's a long stretch. I mean, think about it. What was the thing that actually, made PlayStation's own console this thing that everybody, claimed, especially people like Nib95, was a unique selling point? Exclusives. But the market is too saturated for anybody to care about exclusivity. In fact, everybody that's even buying, or most people buying these other consoles, right? PlayStation, Xbox, they're buying it for specific games that are not even exclusive games. So the Xbox One generation and PS4 generation is pretty much what both console makers are riding on right now. And PlayStation had a head start, or I guess I would say they were way ahead that Xbox could never catch up. Xbox is on track in a sense to where they want to be or close to where it is. But in that particular generation, what did Xbox do? They went ahead and made the jump, especially at that particular time. I like the way that Phil Spencer looked at the ship and he was like, bro, if we do not do anything, we are going to pretty much get cooked. And then what did he do? He pretty much pivoted. He jumped from the perpetual console sales and moved into the PC ecosystem. I wish they took a harder pivot, but maybe they were already in research and development talks to go ahead and make another console, the Series S and X. I think they should have launched them all together. That would have really changed the game for them because Valve was getting a lot of traction at the time, especially during COVID. It would have made a lot of sense to sell both consoles and also establish yourself as a software company. But in all reality, Xbox didn't really have the amount of software publishers that it does now. 2021, right after the console generation turned, that's when they went ahead and purchased Bethesda. PlayStation was still trying to use the third-party exclusivity nonsense. Y'all know that this third-party exclusivity thing is quite weird, right? I mean, Xbox did it and stuff too, so I'm glad that many of them are jumping away from it. But they wanted to money, had Starfield as a timed exclusive. And Xbox went ahead and acquired Bethesda. And in acquiring Bethesda, they looked at how this was actually a very interesting speed run for them. Now they have access to a bunch of content. And then the opportunity came to actually acquire Activision Blizzard King. In looking at this opportunity, Xbox did not waste any time. So, in the grand scheme, software is where the money is. PlayStation knows this. They know. Do you know why? You know why they know this? Do you know why they've actually told us that they know this? They've told us that they know this because the money that they've seen from software outclasses any amount of, whatever it is that they can deal with hardware. So those of you that are counting console sales, you need to make sure that you pair up your counting with the software sales. That's exactly where the money is. Services, software sales, these things bring in the money for the ecosystem. So now that we've reduced it to that and we know, what's actually wrong with Xbox actually looking and saying, you know what? If we're not going to sell as many consoles because we lost the PS4 and Xbox One generation, we might as well go ahead and sell games to already established devices. Simple math. But it is quite a fascinating number, though. 59-1. That's crazy. But it's more fascinating that even with 59-1, the other company that basically is getting smoked in consoles is actually chasing after you in revenue and possibly smoking you in profit margin. Or at least they're beating you, not smoking. Let's just say they're beating you. Or maybe we don't know. Or maybe they're close. Or maybe they're looking at a profit margin target that's insane compared to what profit margin target you're looking at. I mean, think about PlayStation's, targets. It's around 10%. Xbox, from what it is that they've also mentioned, I guess this is something that, what's the name of the lady in charge of the finances in Microsoft? She said something along the lines of 30%. So if PlayStation is chasing 10%, Xbox is chasing 30%, both of them are somewhere around that number that they're chasing. Or it's a fantasy for somebody. But if your competitor, and I guess this is why probably Xbox doesn't really see them as a competition anymore, but if you guys are counting these software numbers, you also got to make sure that you're paying attention to the business. Because throwing this number out there, at the end of the day, doesn't give you the full extent of what the business is. PlayStation may sell, and I've said this before, I give them 150 million PlayStation 5s. Xbox is still going to be creeping behind them and eventually beat them. Why? Xbox has software to sell. Xbox has subscription to sell. Xbox got service to sell. Xbox got consoles to sell. Xbox has got PC to sell. Xbox has got PC to sell too. Xbox has got consoles to sell too. You're going to make more money than them overall. And this is exactly where the business actually starts to change. Because think about the biggest companies in gaming. What do they actually do? They sell software. Have you ever thought about that? Peace out.